What's going on, guys? Welcome back to an episode of season 4 of the vlog. This looks a little bit different. I don't really remember the last time I did a sit down video here, especially during the winter, but this past weekend we held the second annual Stoke Squad meetup, and I got some questions about what the meetup is all about. I think some people were confused. They probably missed some of the announcements throughout the year and stuff like that, but the meetup is really simply just what it sounds like. It was an organized weekend, a formal but informal weekend where we could all get together and enjoy a ski weekend. We separated it out into 2 days to allow Epic holders and Icon Pass holders the chance to come to the meetup and ski. And that's basically it. Other than that, it's open to skiers, snowboarders, beginners, experts, and everything in between. There's no rules, there's no limitations, anything like that. And to be honest, I really didn't know what to expect. So this video is gonna kind of be like a narration of the weekend because I didn't vlog anything. I took some head cam stuff, but I really didn't put the camera in front of my face and talk. And that was for a few reasons, but largely I felt like there were so many of you guys who made the commitment to come to this that I didn't want to make it seem like I was exploiting you guys for a video, and I also wanted to ensure that I was able to talk and meet each and every one of you guys and really enjoy what was going on rather than being too caught up in an actual video and the production side of things. But I think everything happens for a reason. I think it worked out very well because just naturally there were several of you guys who captured some incredible photos, incredible videos. So this is going to be kind of a community generated video, I guess with myself as the backbone, sort of talking about the weekend. The first day of the meetup was held at Park City at the Canyons Village. The idea with this was to give people with an Epic Pass the chance to come to the meetup. And with the recent parking sort of restructuring here at Park City, it just made sense to start at Canyons Village. That way it was more accessible to people. We didn't have to worry about reservations. We didn't have to pay to park. So we met about like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the lower lot. And this was kind of like, is anyone gonna show up? Are we gonna have 2 people? Are we gonna have 10 people? Like what is about to happen is kind of what I'm thinking, driving up in the morning. And by the end of the little initial gathering in the morning, I think we left the parking lot with 20 people, if not a little bit more. It was right around 20 people, which was just like, it was mind blowing to see that many people who were there to ski and hang out. So we woke up with about 6 or 7 inches of new snow and then bluebird skies on a Saturday, like the weekend of spring break. So as you could imagine, it was pretty busy by the time we got up to the Canyons base area. And I think our 2 options was like a 40-minute wait on the cabriolet or the gondola, or a 30-minute wait to Orange Bubble. So we decided to go to the Orange Bubble, but honestly the wait, it felt like it went by very quickly because everyone was still meeting each other, talking, like just saying what was up. And before we knew it, we were up on the chair, heading up the Orange Bubble. And I think the coolest part was getting to see and hear just where everyone came from. We had people who flew from Florida, from Oregon, from Ohio, DC, like people came from all over the place for this meetup. I think we had more people who were, not from Utah at the meetup than who were actually stationed in Utah.
How's it going, y'all? Mark from Virginia, outside DC. Second annual Stoke Squad meetup. Made it all the way out here. Definitely y'all should do it too.
What's up, guys? I'm Justin. Glad to be a part of the Stoke Squad. Second time here from Oregon. Gonna be a great time today.
Yo, DC here. This is where I'm from. This is my mountain. And second time here, stoked. Got the new skis.
DC's gonna be getting this around. So
yeah, I'll be the guide.
Following the guy in the orange.
Once we got off the Orange Bubble, DC, Devin Cross, DC Productions, he's been a resident Stoke Squad member for a while now and just an all-around great supporter of the channel. And he's actually works and lift operations at Park City. He was, because of last year's meetup, he kind of just, I entrusted to just give him the lead and sort of direct the group of where to go. So after we got off Orange Bubble, we actually went over to Super Condor Express area, which is really cool because I have never really skied on that side of the mountain. I think the Orange Rebel is as far looker's right as I've ever went. I've always kind of came back to the left to go to 9990 or the gondola. So for me, it was a lot of fun because I was skiing terrain that I really have never skied before at Park City. However, my first lap of the meetup was pretty gnarly because I got a bloody nose out of like nowhere. I was just like pissing blood all over my suit and everything else, and my pole broke. Like my pole came apart and it wouldn't stay together. Yo, can you grab my pole? Thank you, dude. He hasn't done this in a while.
Wow. So it's not breaking up where I thought it,
No.
dude. That's what I mean. That's a different spot.
Yeah, it just like comes apart. Thank you.
I think he has a bloody nose. I don't know.
And my pole.
I got some tissues.
You do okay. And my pole keeps breaking. Shit. Like my pole keeps coming apart. My first lap was pretty entertaining, and I think by the time I got to the lift, I had tissues, I had a broken pole. So for the rest of the day, I ended up skiing with half of my pole in my backpack and just like a very small extension of my pole. So I was skiing with 1.5 poles, but honestly, it was like without throwing the pole away, I didn't really know what else to do. So if you see clips of a pole coming out of my back, that is why. My pole separated and it just would not rejoin and stay together. The first few laps were honestly a lot of fun on the Super Condor side, and I think it allowed the group options to ski down a more of an intermediate way. Then there was a little bit more challenging sections for the people who wanted it. So I think that sort of marriage of those two different options is crucial when trying to navigate a group of this size that we had. And I think the goal on my end was always staying with the group. I didn't want to split people up and have us all meet up at the end of the day. I think the goal is that we were all there to be together. So how can we make this work but still be fun for different skill levels and different things that people wanted to get out of the meetup. No! See, my pole just comes apart. Thank you. So after we skied the Super Condor side for a little bit, you know, and we cycled through some bathroom breaks and stuff like that, we ended up working our way back over towards the Tombstone area because we figured that this was a nice central place where it had a variety of terrain, it had food, it had bathrooms, and it sort of gave us this nice little hub where we could go up to 9990 for people who wanted to do so, or you know, people could stay, ski some more intermediate stuff, things like that. It was actually at this time we decided we were going back and forth about lunch and some people go here, some people go there. We said, let's all just eat now because if we split up now, we're never gonna all get back together. So I think we were at Tombstone Grill at about peak lunchtime. So it did take us a while to get our food, but it's honestly nice because like I say, the whole objective with this meetup is not just to like lap until, you know, our legs are shot. The whole point is to spend time together and get to know each other, whether that's on the chairlift, on the ski run, or in this case, enjoying like a brisket sandwich. So we had some fire barbecue and then sort of figured out what was the plan of attack post lunch, which is always interesting trying to ski after you just ate. It was at this time actually that Papa Joe ended up meeting up with the group. He had mogul practice in the morning, so he did stop by for a few laps before he had to head back. But at this point, there was a group of us that did want to take the leap to 9990. 9990 is kind of the experts advanced area of the canyon side. So we took a handful of us. There was a pretty sizable group the first lap up there and decided to do something called Red Pine Chutes in Charlie Brown, which is an area of that 9990 that will take you back down to Tombstone. So there was another group of people that went off to go do some more intermediate stuff and come back to Tombstone with the idea being, hey, we're gonna split up, but we're all gonna meet back down at Tombstone. So I think the highlight of this whole, this lap on my end was getting people who might be from the East Coast or wherever up into a terrain like this and see them actually be able to ski it. And I got to give a shout out to Mark and Matt, these guys who came from the East Coast and were just stoked to get up there. And this stuff can be challenging for people who've never seen this sort of terrain before. And I think if you're out west, you take it for granted being able to ski stuff like this or be surrounded by terrain like this. So on my end, it was very cool to kind of empower the group and trust the group to take on a slope of this caliber. It's a double black diamond that's 35 degrees in pitch, which it's no joke. So be able to see someone like Mark just get stoked to be able to ski something like this is kind of why this whole thing, the whole Stoke squad, this whole YouTube channel is kind of here in the first place. So it was really cool to be a part of that and see someone's progression like right in front of my eyes, because you guys ask me all the time, how do I get better? How do I ski steeper terrain? And I think seeing Mark, do this, it was like a real life case study of how you can progress in a safe way and sort of get through that block of advancing to the next level.
Let's go, you got this.
First mark. All right, dude, let's go.
Atta babe.
Nice, Mark.
That was huge, man. Sent it.
First double block?
Look at that, man. Holy shit.
First double block or first real double block?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, dude. Congrats.
Yeah, nice job, man. It's not easy.
For the most part, that sort of rounded out our first day of the meetup. And I think we had about, like I said, 20 people for skiing. And then by the time we got down to the base and everyone took their boots off and sort of regrouped, we ended up with about 13 people who were committed to carry on the Stoke to dinner. And we went out to, we were calling places like, hey, I got a group of 13, we don't have reservations, like, would you be willing to seat us? And we found a place, Red Rock Brewing in Kimball Junction, that got us right in. We had 13 of us. Just hung out at dinner for a few hours, and full day of Stoke, and just really rad to see so many people come together to ski, enjoy dinner, enjoy, and just talk about what we enjoy, which is the mountains essentially. Day 2 of the meetup took place on Sunday, and we were honestly going back and forth a little bit with the icon destination because there's so many options here in Utah. We were a little concerned with potential snowfall and getting a group up Big Cottonwood Canyon and back and stuff like that. So we originally were thinking Solitude. We had a moment where I was pretty close to switching it to Deer Valley because I was like, it's so much easier to get up Parleys than it is to get up one of the Cottonwoods if it does snow. The main reason why I didn't change it was I ended up getting a DM from someone named Levi and said, hey, and I could tell this was a kid, and he said, I already have a ticket for Solitude, I'd appreciate it if you didn't change it. And I was like, fair enough. It really wouldn't be fair to change it the night before. And in retrospect, I'm really glad that we kept it at Solitude. To be honest, on my end, I was expecting half the size of Park City. That's kind of what happened last year, and just, I feel like for some reason, Park City is a little bit more enticing, but I was wrong, all right? I showed up at Solitude. We had more people at Solitude than we had at Park City. I think our final head count when we went out was like 22 or 23 people, which was just, I think it doesn't sound like a lot of people, but when you go into a lift corral and you have 20 plus people, even on a 6-person lift, that's a lot of people to get through the line. So it was really cool to see the bulk of that group was repeat from the day before, but then we also had a bunch of new faces as well. So the kicker with this day is that we got like 3 or 4 inches of fresh snow. It was not sunny, but it was not a whiteout. So it's almost like the best case scenario you could have if it's gonna be a POW day is that you still have visibility. So a lot of externalities and sort of outside factors come into play, which can honestly make or break a ski day. It's easy to ski when it's bluebird and POW. It is not always easy to ski if it's windy, if it's a whiteout, so I was just thankful that everything basically worked out. The day at Solitude honestly just couldn't have been any better. I think the octave was definitely higher. People were a little bit more jonesing to go. We got into a bit more gnarly terrain, and I think just the whole flow of the group worked out really, really nicely. And like when you have a POW day, it's kind of hard, not to have a fun day. So once we sort of figured out skill levels, I think we were comfortable to move into Honeycomb Canyon, which is kind of Solitude's claim to fame, I think you could argue Fantasy Ridge and stuff like that, but for the most part, Honeycomb Canyon is kind of the spot to be at, especially on a POW day. We had a moment where there was a group of us that traversed up Honeycomb Canyon to get, you know, I don't know why we do it. It's just sort of the journey to get a little bit more extra turns or fresher snow. But then sort of the bulk of the group went the main way down. We were like, hey, let's meet up at Honeycomb Return. By the time we traversed and figured out where we were dropping, and we literally met up at Honeycomb Canyon at the same time. No communication. Like, you couldn't have planned that any better.
There's a long line of us.
All right, we're dropping.
I'm gonna drop. I'll meet you guys at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Have fun. Woo! Oh, man, it's good. Woo! Holy. Let's go.
The biggest difference with the Solitude Day compared to Park City is that we had about 3 15-year-olds who were also part of the group. So the exuberance and youth was was amplified on Sunday. So it's always interesting when you're following a 15-year-old and they say, hey, there's a cliff over here, follow me. You don't really know what exactly that means, but in order to retain my youth and being twice the age of a 15-year-old, it was a lot of fun and just super fun ripping with kids and just kind of sharing the Stoke with people from age 15 all the way up to 70 plus. So again, that was the coolest part of this, was the diversity of people we had here, but all coming together under the same goal of just Stoke.
Right there, there's a little pocket you can catch. Yeah. Oh yeah. Saw in one of your vids you threw the wave down there, right?
I did, yeah.
You think it's doable today? I'm thinking about it.
I think so.
I saw somebody do it earlier.
And the trickier part is because the run-in is like, you're kind of always off balance coming into it, so it's like making sure, yeah, you got to make sure you're like set. I don't know which way you spin, left or right.
Left.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I spin left too.
You want me to lead it?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Send that.
I'm gonna. This is just silly.
Yeah.
What happened to the train?
I know, right?
We lost our caboose.
Yes, dude. Yeah. That was sick, dude. That was big.
By the end of the day, I think the group that traveled out into another restaurant, I think we might have had 8, 9, or 10 people again. So, you know, the Stoke really carried on from Sunday morning at 8 o'clock right up until, you know, Sunday evening for dinner. And it was just an incredible weekend overall. I'm very grateful and honestly, I don't know what my expectations were, but the whole meetup completely blew me away. The coolest part, you know, is me getting to meet you guys. Obviously, that's very cool to actually be able to put names to faces and usernames and stuff like that. But also, I think you guys getting to meet each other. I think there's a bunch of you guys who talk to each other on the live stream, in the comments, or in the Discord, and have honestly created friendships virtually. But to be able to see you guys meet each other was the most rewarding part for me. And I don't know who I said this to, but I felt like all weekend I was a part of someone's event. I didn't feel like, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I was the reason why people were here. And it's really hats off to all you guys who made the trip out here. You know, I don't want to name anyone because I don't want to leave people out, but you know, I got to give a big shout out to Devin and Jay for really sort of taking the lead, even though we didn't even talk about that, but you guys were just great sort of figures to take the helm of this thing. Chin, Chris Noddy, Justin, you know, Mark. Again, people came from all over the place to be here, and I just, you know, it's amazing to share the friendships with you guys, and just really appreciate you guys being here on the channel. So I don't know if there's really any other community or, you know, YouTube channel doing a ski meetup like that. So again, we're kind of pioneering this whole thing, and it's really cool to be a part of. So I appreciate everyone who spent the money. I know it's not cheap, the time, took time off from work, whatever you guys did to come out here. I genuinely, truly had a blast. And I honestly just, it motivates me to make the third one that much better. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, fam. Peace out.